Welcome to rainy Istanbul, where I'm about to start a trip through Central Asia. The trip took me to a lot of interesting cities, and of course there were some aviation adventures on the way. Let's kick it off with a flight on Uzbekistan Airways. Good morning from a surprisingly rainy Istanbul. I mean, I guess it can rain here, I just didn't expect it on this trip, because all the rest of the trip is supposed to be very sunny, so I'm not really prepared for the rain, but that's okay. I actually like rain, it's better than burning sun, and the temperature is quite good. It's like 20 degrees Celsius here, which is like the perfect temperature to walk around. I stayed here in Istanbul for one night, but now it's time to leave. I'm heading to a country I've never been before. Today we're heading to Uzbekistan. Now obviously we could take a flight from here to Tashkent, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take a flight to a secondary city. It's called Fergana, and it's going to take 4.5 hours. It's an Airbus A320. I'm not too sure what to expect. I've never flown Uzbekistan Airways, but let's see how it goes. And also, Istanbul is actually a very interesting city when it comes to transportation. I just took the funicular line in a tunnel. It's the second oldest subway in Europe, and it's been operating since 1875. So the M2 metro line is up there on the bridge, like up there. They have a station on a bridge, isn't that cool? Let's go to the airport. So we're gonna take the M2 line, and we're gonna have to transfer twice. So transfer to another metro line and then once again to reach the airport. It's not quite straightforward. And then we'll go to Uzbekistan. I made my way up the Hearty M2 station and had to wait only a couple of minutes for a train to arrive. I later transferred to the M7 and then again to the M11 line, which goes all the way to the airport. The M11 line went into operations just in January 2023, so it was still fairly new. It's nicely decorated and even features some airline seats for waiting on the platform. The airplane windows show some movies about transportation in Turkey. 10 minutes later, the train departed and reached the airport after half an hour. The airport station is built deeply into the ground and it takes a while to get up all the levels. This is escalator number 1. That's number 2. And finally number 3. The view of the airport from up here was actually quite good. All in all, it took me 1.5 hours to reach the airport. So just keep that in mind if you're planning to take the metro from the city. So the metro station at the airport here is like 300 meters from the terminal. They have this covered walkway to protect you from the sun and rain. And they also have some like travelators in there, so you don't have to walk the whole way. But it's such a nice day. Actually it stopped raining now, so I decided to take a little walk. I had actually never been outside the terminal at Istanbul airport because I always just transited before. It is a really big open space that features some greenery. Since I checked in online and didn't have luggage, I could go through immigration and security right away. The huge terminal of Istanbul airport was busy as ever, and I made my way to the IGA lounge, which I accessed with my Dragon Pass. Welcome to the IGA lounge. The airport is absolutely packed and so is the lounge. It took me half an hour to clear immigration and security. Yeah, but we're finally here. The food selection in this lounge cannot be compared to Turkish Airlines, obviously. Why am I going to Uzbekistan actually? Well, it's an interesting aviation market at the moment. Just this year, 4 new airlines were founded in Uzbekistan. So it's like the aviation sector is really taking off. They have now 8 local airlines there. Like Uzbekistan Airways is just the largest, but they have like a couple of others. The Uzbekistan people, they travel more and more. So they go to places like Doha, Dubai, and Europe, also Asia, to like places like Thailand, the Maldives. And Uzbekistan is actually the fastest growing country in Central Asia, economy-wise, and I think also population-wise. I finished my lunch and left the lounge and headed towards the gate. With all the Turkish Airlines aircraft, the plane spotting from the gate was heavy on the red. But soon some blue, yellow and green appeared on the horizon. Not after long, the Uzbekistan Airbus A320 turned into the gate. About 20 minutes later, boarding already started. But when I say boarding, I actually mean they just checked all the boarding passes and documentation. Passengers were then kept upstairs in a holding area until the real boarding started. The real boarding started after another 10 minutes. I was astonished by the amount of hand luggage people took on board. It seemed to be mostly shopping bags wrapped in a lot of plastic. Welcome aboard the Airbus A320 of Uzbekistan Airways. It's one of their older models. They do have a few Neos, but this is one of the classic ones. The seats are actually really comfortable, and the legroom is also quite nice. And they also have these audio channels, like by the armrest. There's no personal in-flight entertainment. Boarding was a bit chaotic. I don't know, there was a lot of pushing and crowding during the boarding, and I'm like, why? I mean, you get to board at some point, so no need to push. But anyway, also I feel like I might have been the only one who checked in online, because everyone else had like paper boarding passes, and also the crew seemed to be a little bit confused about the mobile boarding pass. Like the lady at the entrance actually had to ask her colleague where to find the seat on the boarding pass. I thought that was kind of funny. I think Uzbekistan Airways only introduced online check-in like early this year, so maybe people still need to get used to it. Anyway, looking forward to the flight.
The crew would like to welcome you on board Uzbekistan Airways Airbus A320. Today we issue sector flight number 278 en route Istanbul, Fergana.
The cabin was fully prepared and everyone was buckled up, yet we still stood around the gate for quite some time. Finally, over half an hour late, we started our pushback, but no explanation was given for the delay. We then taxied out to the runway, passing a lot of Turkish Airlines aircraft on the way, but also some other interesting aircraft like this Iran Air Tour Airbus A320. Just airborne out of Istanbul, runway 36. Very smooth takeoff, smooth climb. Taxi in Istanbul took a long time, as always, 20 minutes from the gate to the runway. And even at the gate, like everything was ready, safety briefing was done, but we had to wait at the gate for like 20-25 minutes. I assume because of air traffic control overload, but there was no information about it, so I don't know why. Yeah, then we climbed out of runway 36. Initial climb was over the Black Sea. Now we turned back towards the land and flying over Turkey now. So like half an hour after takeoff, the crew rode around headphones. They're very simple headphones, but at least there are some. And they also started a movie. Like there are some monitors every couple of rows that come out from the ceiling. Like very old style, and you can listen to it on channel 1 and 2 of the audio. Unfortunately, there is no music or anything on the other channels. The movie is like the only thing that's there on channel 1 and 2. Oh well. Crew just came around with the first drink service. I ordered a red wine and an orange juice. And also I have to say the crew is really nice. They're really, really friendly, really proactive. Like for example, the lady in the IST here was sleeping, and the crew offered her a pillow without her even asking for it. I thought that was very nice. And the meal service has arrived. There was a choice between chicken and beef. I went for the beef. I don't think they have a vegetarian option. In Central Asia, it's always a bit difficult with vegetarian. But anyway, I'm not a vegetarian, so I'm fine with the beef. And it comes with a side of ananas, some pickles, some sausage, I believe, and like a chocolate pie sort of thing. Let's see how it tastes like. So, meal finished. It was very good. Very heavy on the meat side. I was missing some vegetables maybe. They had peas with the beef. Otherwise, there were like 3 choices of meat. There was beef, there was some ham or something. And one of the buns, like one of the pastries actually contained meat as well. Which I don't mind, but a few fresh vegetables would have been nice as well, like a salad or something. But all in all, a very, very decent economy class meal. Like you also get peanuts, they give you butter and jam, they give you ketchup and mustard. That's also very nice. So now we are like 2 hours into the flight, and I'm probably gonna watch some pre-downloaded Netflix episodes because the movie, like, I think the movie is in Russian actually. I don't speak any Russian, so I don't understand anything there. Netflix it is. Just paid a visit to the loo. It's pretty old, rather outdated. I mean, the airplane is also kind of old. Actually, there's a long queue for the loo, so you have to wait for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And there are 2 loos, left and right. What I didn't understand is that the passengers who were like in front of me in those loos, like both of them didn't lock their doors. It's always a bit irritating. I don't know why people don't do that. Anyway, sun is setting outside. We still have like 1.5 hours to go. The rest of the flight was rather uneventless. As we passed the eastern end of the Caspian Sea, I watched the sunset outside. Half an hour before landing, we started our descent. On approach to runway 18, we flew over the city of Magellan.
Make sure seatbelt unfastened and make a suitable remote. Thank you.
And welcome to Fergana. The airport does not feature a parallel taxiway, so we had to do a backtrack along the runway after landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Uzbekistan. Our plane has just landed at Fergana International Airport. Local time is 9:25 p.m. Temperature is plus 19 degrees Celsius.
In case you're interested, the ticket cost me $231 one way, booked 2 months in advance. We were on blocks 45 minutes behind schedule. During deboarding it was the same scene as during boarding, with people crowding and pushing a lot in the aisle to get out. Come on, the flight wasn't that bad. Immigration took about 20 minutes and then I found myself in Uzbekistan for the very first time. I walked to my accommodation, which I reached after just 10 minutes. At first I wasn't sure about the entrance, but the gate was open, so I just stepped into the courtyard. I'm just glad there wasn't any dog around. The owner came outside to greet me, and soon I was on my way to the room. Made it to my hotel here. It's the Hotel D. It's located actually just 500 meters from the airport. It's also only €26 per night, and it's actually quite nice. Look at that. I like the colors, like the color scheme, and it's very clean as well. And the owner is super nice, or I don't know, I think it's the owner. I needed to find an ATM because I need some cash, and there was no ATM at the airport. Actually, maybe there is an ATM at the departures building, but there was no ATM at arrivals. There's also no money exchange, so I needed to find an ATM real bad. And he called, I think, a local version of Uber or something, and he went with me in that Uber sort of thing to the ATM. It's like 3 kilometers away. I retrieved some cash and then we went back here. So really, really nice, super friendly, and he can even speak a little English. I don't speak any Uzbek. I don't speak Russian. I can read Cyrillic, but other than that, I can't. I'm gonna stay here for a night, and tomorrow I'm gonna try something. I'm not sure if it will work. There's a special flight that goes out of here on a special aircraft. I don't have a ticket yet. I know very little about the flight, about the airline, but yeah, we'll just see tomorrow. I'll get up early tomorrow and we'll see how it goes. And until then, enjoy your travels.